way. Ms. Walker talked to you about the fact of being sure you're in the right course or that you're registered. You need to be in the right section too. If you were in one of my sections, if you were in one of Ms. Hurd's sections, if you were in one of Ms. Rick's section or Ms. Lee's section, you need to be with that faculty in the same section you were in 360. We got a bunch of people that aren't. Now, you should have gotten a message several ways if you're affected by that. We sent out, Ms. Lauren sent out things in my apps before the course opened. I've sent out messages and the other faculty have in their courses. We've called people. But the 24th is coming up. Now, you've got an assignment due next Monday. We'll show you that in just a minute. If you're not in the right course, you're in danger of that assignment being late whenever we can find it. So get yourself done today. If you're here and you know that that affects you, come upstairs and let's get you settled, because it's more than I've ever had. And I understand what happened to some people. The course filled up with people who weren't supposed to be in there, and then they couldn't get in there. But it has to be attended to. Excuse me, allergy season. 360, you made it, okay? So now you pat yourself on the back. Those of you that took the comments in the next paper, you made the changes, hooray, I congratulate you. Those of you who never made the changes all semester long, you're in bad trouble now. Those same changes are going to be required and points are still going to be deducted. You can't ignore it. You have to pay attention to that. The first assignment due is going to be a theory assignment. It's going to be an essay, scholarly writing, just like you did before. That's due Monday. So you need to get on the ball with that. You're going to find the theorists. There's 2 new theorists on there. When you open it up, you're going to find them just the way you did before. Be careful about answering the questions. In 360, we give you a little slack about all those items we want addressed. We're not going to give you any slack this time. So be sure that what you do is you think in your mind, well, I've read about that lady or that gentleman, and I've answered those questions, but you haven't. So after you write it, you go back and look what we asked. Did you look and see what they said about man, environment, health, all those things? Did you put that down there? So pay attention to that. Group work. You're going to be in the same groups you were before. Now, because of this people not registering, everybody's not in there if you look at it right now. There are a couple of people that so far haven't registered at all in my groups. And maybe they're not coming back. I'm kind of hanging loose to see. But I will notify the team leaders of any changes, and the other faculty will too whenever we find out who exactly is coming back. But the groups are going to work just like they did before, and we're going to pull up a group assignment in a minute and show it to you. Okay, let's look at your assignments here in just a minute. Okay, you see you got a theory assignment due. You've got 3 quizzes in this class. Remember about your quizzes. It's just like before. We're going to open them up the week before. Then it'll be cut off that day at 3 o'clock that it's due. There's no late work with the quiz. We don't give any makeup work for a quiz if you just forgot. So what Ms. Walker said about mesh your calendar, get it on, be organized, is the same for everything. That's the key. It's not rocket science, but it is another added cumbersome part to your life. And if you don't, I probably had this many people call me in 360 and say, is there any way to make up that quiz? I just remembered there was one. I forgot about that. I said, no, hon, I'm sorry, you just lost those points. So don't put yourself, you think, well, I can make those points up. Well, what if you don't? You know, I'm the type of person is I want to try to get the maximum points out of everything because I might have trouble down the line, and I might need those extra 25 or 50 points to make a difference between a C and a D, or a B and a C, or an A. It's a real shame to mess that A up because you just didn't take a test. So, words to the wise on that. Now, let's look at these rough draft rating sheets just a minute. You're going to start on your research here. Now, the research topics for each faculty member are different. You learned that in 360. We all have a topic. For our sections, we're going to be using that topic. Our topics are not the same as they were last year. So if you've got a friend from last year that said, hey, you know, take this will help you out, you're going to be in bad trouble when you turn me in something on obese children, because that's not what we're studying about. I said, oh, well, where did that come from? I've had that happen, so don't do that. But it's going to be like this. You're going to start out with the chapter 1 of your research project. In research, that's the introduction. You read the notes, and it'll tell you all about it. But those are the things that you're going to be sure that are in there. Those are also the way we're going to grade it. And you're going to do just like you did in 360 with the bare bones. You're going to give it to a group to critique, and they're going to give it back to you. Then you're going to wait for the faculty to give you a final critique, and you're going to write your final paper. And there'll be a grade for each part of that. And the grade will be a group grade. Now, I'll tell everybody, and I'll put out the messages for the leaders to help them. If you don't do your work in the group, you don't do the grade. Okay? And when you lose that many points, it gets pretty hard to pass. So hang in there, do your stuff timely, and you'll make sure that you can get that grade. Let's look at the theory assignment just a minute. Okay? Just like you had it before. You got 2 more theories. Okay? Now let's go to the modules. Okay. Course is arranged in modules, just like it was before, okay? Now, there's your calendar, your due dates. You'll click on that, Claire. Just open that. See that theory assignment, January the 23rd. Everything's there. Now look over here. Go up to the top a little bit. You see it says group 1, group 2, group 3, whatever group you're in. When you look at your group assignments, that's when group 1's management plan rough draft of chapter 1. That's not a rough draft of the management plan, that's a rough draft of chapter 1. Okay? Then so you look at your group on those things, all right? This is all students individually in this column. Those are all individual assignments for you to take through. So that'll take you through the whole semester. Now we're going to do chapter 1, 2, and 3 this semester of the research study. That's the introduction, the review of the literature, and the methodology, or setting up the study. Then you're actually going to send out a survey. We'll do it electronically. Your fellow students will respond. That survey will come back, and then you'll finish up in the summer with chapter 4, 5, an abstract, and a PowerPoint on those results. So when you finish, you'll have a completed research project. Each individual student will have one. We'll keep notifying the leaders, when you have the final copy, it goes out to everybody in the group. So everybody will keep that for this semester. They'll have it to take to next semester and finish up. Every individual student will have all that. Well, ever need that? Well, if you're going to go to the master's program, for sure you'll need it. It's not master's level research because you're doing it in a group, but it is basic research, and you'll have a template to start with. You'll know how to do a research PowerPoint. It's a little bit different than the other PowerPoints, and you'll have that done. But you'll have that whole project. So you say, well, I'm not ever going to go to the master's program. I'm going to go back to work, and that's what I want to do. We talked about this change in your clinical practice wherever you work. I'm an old nurse, and I can remember years ago, the nurses would want to make a change, and they'd say, well, go and talk to the medical staff and see if we can do this. Well, what do you want to do? Well, I just think this will work better. Well, when you tell the docs you think it'll work better, do you think they listen to that? No. They're wondering if there's going to be shrimp on the buffet when they finish it. You know, they're not listening to that. Nor is the CEO. But when you say, I would like to do a pilot study for 6 weeks, and I've reviewed the literature, and here's the evidence-based practice that is current, here's what the literature says, I think we could save X amount of dollars, we could decrease our infection control problem. You know, they're going to listen to that because that means money. Okay? And so you'll have this as a guide. You can set up a little pilot study. You'll know how to search for your literature. You'll know what's valid literature and what is. So that's why that's important for a baccalaureate nurse, to have those tools as all of these other tools. None of the items that went into this curriculum were there because somebody just thought of it on a whim. They're all tools that we as nurses know that you'll need in the future. And maybe you don't go to the master's program now. Maybe you decide 5 years from now when your kid's a little older you're going to go. Well, you just keep that research project. You'll have something to start with. It won't change. It'll be the same. Okay. Yeah, let's go over your modules. Okay. So you have research guidelines there. You need to read that. That tells you how you're going to put together everything, every chapter, what you need to know. There's your syllabus. Now this content, there's your scholarly writing notes, the same one you had last time. There's research notes there. Those are new. Your tables are there for your pages for your scholarly writing in APA, in Strunk and White. That's how to get to the library again. There's your sample title page, which a lot of you still needed to work on. Your table of contents and a sample research paper. Now let me tell you about this sample research paper. It's a student paper from a few years ago that they gave us permission to use. It is not a perfect paper. There are no tables in there, that's one thing, and you have to have them. So don't tell me, well, that's what they did in the student paper. That's just because sometimes it helps. The only reason we put this up here, sometimes it helps us to look at something and we'll have an aha moment we didn't have when we read the notes and looked at the grading sheet. We'll kind of know what it is that's about, and that's the only reason that's there. I look forward to working with you. You all have our phone numbers. You know to call us. You know that all of us work part-time, which doesn't mean we're not available the rest of the time. Just means we're not in the office, except Mondays and Tuesdays. And Miss Lee's not in the office then. So the best way to get us are on our cell phones. And we'll always get back with you. If we're in the middle of something, we'll still get back with you. We won't ignore you. I think you've learned that. And that's the key. Don't ever think that you shouldn't call with a question. But what you do need to tell me, and you need to tell me what section you're in, what group you're in, because I can formulate my answer better for you that way. But anytime, for all of us, call. Because this is new territory for you. You'll see in the research notes, it's kind of hokey, but you know, I'm an old lady, so I'm allowed to do those things. I talk about it's like a journey to a foreign country, research is for you. You know, you've got to learn to speak a new language. You've got to learn to find your way know you were going. So we know it's that way. We know you're gonna have questions. There's no stupid question. But if you're out there just trying to invent it on your own, you get into trouble. So if you'll let us guide you, if you'll ask us, if you will do your group work in a timely fashion and assist your leader with that, you'll get a good grade in this class. But if you don't, you won't. And it's just as simple as that. Because most of the work and most of the points in this class are going to come from group work from the research projects. You've got a theory paper, you've got some quizzes. Other than that. And the quizzes are going to, a lot of them is going to be on that dreaded APA and strength and thought. All those little comments I wrote on people's papers, okay? All right, any questions? Welcome back. We look forward to the journey. Thank you.